if you were to meet Saint Joseph, say you're having a cup of coffee, and you could ask him one question, what would you ask him? What would you always have wanted to have asked them?
Well, first of all, I'd probably have a cup of tea.
Oh, okay.
No, no, just kidding. Basically, while I think, the three main documents that I share universally are, as you know, the apostolate introduction,
Mm,
the essay, St. Joseph's Place in the Earthly Trinity, and then the Litany. You know, I think you know, I think they form a beautiful teaching. I think they're complete, but I would like confirmation of that. So to me, I would ask St. Joseph, are these writings true and good, beneficial for everybody, and any tweaks necessary? Still further, and basically that's what I would, because the thing is, whatever I share with others, I really want to be true and good.
so you'd kind of want to get his stamp of approval on what you're
Yeah,
saying.
and then
Yeah.
if anything needs to be tweaked, fine, let's tweak. Because I don't profess
Yeah.
to be perfect with anything here. So.
That's really good. So, if people were wanting to develop a relationship or devotion to Saint Joseph, do you have any advice for maybe some beginners who don't really have anything to do with Saint Joseph but want to?
Well, I like I said, I believe in these three documents, and I believe in the universality of what is expressed here. While some, especially men, may be husbands and fathers, and they may look at that aspect of their lives also in devotion to Saint Joseph. This is still the universal way, or a universal way of looking at devotion to
Yeah.
Saint Joseph. I would start there, and then if you need him, it's funny because you know um, I look at my own life, my own devotion, as it were. First and foremost, it is this universal, this what I call, Saint Joseph's unique, universal, and complementary place with Jesus and Mary.
Right.
And that's like the beginning focus. But then for my own self, I brought it to kind of a radical response, as it were, which is like a fourth document, which I have on my website, and it's for those who want to live as a consecrated disciple of Jesus, the Son of God and Son of Joseph and Mary, who
Oh,
will make, like I said, private vows, of chastity, poverty, and obedience to the spirit of Saint Joseph and the life nurturing wisdom that Mary is to pass on, as I express it. But like I said, but then there are others that wouldn't do that, aren't going to live as a consecrated,
mhm.
um, in that sense of, like I said, the evangelical councils, but they're husbands and fathers, and so they want to live that, and so they'll meditate on Saint Joseph in that way. But I still think there's this
Right.
universal, just like Mary. Mary can be, for women, a model wife and mother for those that, of course, are married with children. But we know that she has a unique, universal, and complementary place with our Lord. And, you know, there's still that aspect that, you can't just sit there and say, well, I love Mary as my model of, wife and mother. There's that universal role. And the same thing with St. Joseph. And so, to me, I would encourage people to, you know, reflect, on what is expressed in these documents. The one thing I like about having these three, the three pieces of paper, basically, with text on the front and back, and not that I'm saying anything against people like yourself who write books, but this information is free. It's easily accessible. Nobody has to buy a book. And again, not that I'm against anybody who writes books, but I just see, you know, um, an availability that's there for everybody. In the briefness of it is, that's there. It's not a book, it's
So
like I
that's on
said,
your,
it's basically 6 pages. And and especially continue, like start praying with the litany and continue with it because like I can pray it, and I think yourself you can pray it, especially after reading the first two documents, which a lot of the teaching is based on quotes that are in those two documents. But I think sometimes when somebody who is coming cold and is picking this up for the first time, you know and just like with any people could read a paragraph and they might get some of the thought of the author, but it just sometimes it takes repeated reading of something, and it's the same thing. It's just meditation, and it's like to repeatedly do it over time. Asking for guidance, and of course that's what the intercessory prayer is. Is we're asking our Lord, Our Lady, and Saint Joseph to help us understand, their roles and enter into them, and so just give it time. Don't just like read it. Especially the prayer. Just read it. Kind of rote and just let it go. But really pray it. Meditatively and do it over time. Let it really sink in to the meaning of all the lines.
my priest friend used to always say with stuff like that, always just let it simmer. You don't have to get it right
Yes.
away. Just let
Yeah.
it simmer. So, Aaron, did you have anything else that you'd like to share before we call this a night?
I guess one other thing I would ask Saint Joseph is, where do we go from here?